Welcome back. Ayurveda, the Science of Life 101. I'm Nicole. We're in session 4, Prakriti versus Vikriti. Up to this point, we've explored the elements and the doshas and how those forces move through your system. Now we're ready to take the next step because understanding the doshas is one thing, but understanding what is truly yours versus what has developed over time, well, that's where clarity begins. That's where Ayurveda becomes deeply personal. So I'd like to start with a very simple idea. There is a version of you that is original, and there is a version of you that has been shaped by your life. That version has been shaped by your experiences, your habits, your stresses, your environment, your family, your relationships. Fortunately, Ayurveda gives us language for both the original version and the shaped version. And once you understand the difference, you can stop trying to fix yourself. And instead, you start learning how to return to yourself. You see, Prakriti is your original blueprint. It is the way your system was designed from the very beginning. It includes your natural tendencies, your baseline energies, the way your mind and body are wired. Prakriti is not something you create. It is something you are born with, and it does not change. Prakriti feels like ease. It's how you are when you're not forcing anything, when you are not stressed, when you're not trying to be something else or be someone else. It's when you're not compensating. It's your natural rhythm. Sadly, most people have lost touch with it. In the Vedic understanding, there are two principles in the universe, Prakriti and Purusha. We speak about Prakriti in this lesson, but I'm going to give you a little information on Purusha so you recognize it later. Purusha is the observer, the witness. Prakriti is everything that moves. So when we speak about Prakriti, we're talking about your body, your thoughts, your emotions, even your dosha. It's something you experience, yet it's not who you are completely at your core. Now, Vikriti, that is your current state. What's happening right now in this moment in your system. And for most people, this is what they think of as themselves. But Vikriti is not your truth. It is your imbalances, your current state, and your condition. Vikriti develops over time. It develops through lifestyle, through stress, through diet, through environment, through emotional experiences. There's a myriad of things. Vikriti is small imbalances repeated over time that then become patterns. And those patterns, they become your current reality. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky. When you live in this imbalance long enough, and many of us have, that starts to feel normal. You start to say, well, yeah, that's just how I am. It's just who I am. But it's not. It's actually how you've adapted to these small imbalances over time. So Ayurveda says it's not your nature, it's your imbalance. Give you an example. Someone with excess vata might say, I'm just anxious. I just can't decide. I feel so ungrounded. Someone with pitta might say, well, I have a sharp tongue and I'm just intense. That's my personality. Get over it. Someone with some excess kapha might say, yeah, I just have no energy. I know, I move slow. I like to sleep in. I mean, that's just who I am. But Ayurveda says, look again. This may not be your nature, but rather your imbalance. So the work is not really to become someone new. It's to return, to remember, and to reconnect with what has always been there. Your Prakriti, your original blueprint. That requires awareness. So how do we determine your dosha? How do we understand your Prakriti? We look for what has been consistent over time. Not what you're feeling right now, today, but rather what has always been true about you. It's actually quite simple. We begin by looking at your body. Your body will most definitely leave clues. It is your natural frame that we're looking at, your natural tendencies. Some people are thinner naturally, smaller boned naturally. How you've always moved through the world physically, how you're moving is important. Not what's happening right now, but honestly, what's been there from the very beginning. Do you have long, lush hair? Do you have brittle hair? Then we can look at your mind. When we're doing that, we're looking at not just emotions, but your thinking style. We want to look at your tendencies under ease, not under stress. Again, that's coping. So, are you a creative thinker? Are you analytical? Or are you more grounded? These answers can tell us a lot about your mind constitution. But one of the most powerful places that we can look is childhood. Childhood happened before coping strategies, before you needed that caffeine shot in the morning. It happened before conditioning, before life itself layered itself right on top of you. So who were you then? Who were you in your group of friends? There is a question that I really want you to sit with. And it's simple. What has always been true about you? A little later, I'm asking you to really pause with this. I don't want to know what developed later, not what you became to survive, but honestly, think about what has always been there. What do you know about yourself from childhood on up? Just take a moment now and let the question land. Take a pause. Because the truth is, most people have never even asked that. Let's keep going and add another layer here. Let's go into mental constitution. This is where the gunas come in. I get into this deeper a little later in your education, but let's do a little now. So the gunas are Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. They shape how you think, how you respond, and how you process life. So the first one is Sattva. And Sattva is clarity, peace, balance, awareness. This is the state where you see things as they are. The second one is Rajas. Rajas is activity, movement, drive, desire. It pushes forward. But too much rajas can create agitation. The next one is tamas. Tamas is inertia, stillness, heaviness, resistance. Necessary, but when excessive, it can create stagnation. So now we have some layers. We have your dosha. We have your mental state. We even are starting to touch on your current imbalance, all by this reflection that you're doing. I want you to know that all of these are interacting. And all of that interaction, all of those layers, they are what create your experience in life. Again, this is not about labeling these things. It is about being aware of them, because awareness will create a choice for you. So let's go back to that question. Let's go back to awareness. Close your eyes and take a breath and ask yourself again, what has always been true about me? So whatever came up, let it be enough. There's no fixing. There's no forcing. There's simply noticing here. You are perfect exactly the way you are. And once you see yourself clearly, you can begin to realign. Not by changing who you are, but by supporting who you are, what your natural tendencies are. So thank you for being here. In the next session, we will begin to work more directly with imbalance and how to bring your system back into alignment. Thanks again. See you in the next session.